Hey, how are you guys doing today? All right. In this video, I want to talk about a topic that's kind of an issue in the music community. Um, we all love music, and sometimes a lot of the people in the music community like to party a lot. And, maybe you've been in a band with somebody that drinks too much or parties too much or whatever, and affects the quality of the band. So you don't you don't play out enough. The second set sounds terrible at practice. Somebody's sloppy. They're missing their changes, and it just affects. It's not fun after a while. Maybe the first couple times you goof around and everything's it's kind of like a high school party. You're having fun, but it gets old, and starts to cause problems within the band because somebody just can't stay sober. And it's really tragic, and it brings down not just bands, but it brings down individual musicians who are trying to get better, and not just within their music abilities, but the rest of their life becomes tragic, and there's all kinds of issues related to it that are more important than music, like paying your rent, taking care of your kids, showing up for people, being available emotionally, mentally for your significant other or your family or your friends. That really just kind of destroys not just lives, but it destroys whole families and whole friend groups, really. So today, I think what I want to talk about is, could music be a cure for alcoholism? I think it can be. If you're putting a lot of effort into uh, drinking and or drugging, whatever you're doing, your time is spent focused on that. You're escaping something about your life that you don't like. You're coping with maybe emotional trauma from the past. You're not happy with your life where it's at, so you want another reality, and so you do that through substances. And it's not just substances; it's material things too. People buy cars. They chase people to try to find happiness through other people. They don't really, look inside their heart and figure out, hey, what do I really want in this life? Well, if you're a musician and you really want to get better as a musician and become a professional, get out there and play out a lot, sometimes you got to let go of those bad habits that are bringing you down. And in the music community, one of those things is alcohol and drug abuse. So, how could music be a cure for alcoholism? Well, music is a very complex subject. There's kind of the beginner musician things where maybe you're learning the first open chords and just learn how to make some basic sounds, and then maybe you move up to scales and you start figuring out little licks like that, or you figure out a riff to a song that and you're repeating patterns and all that stuff and all that. And then you start getting into theory and you start figuring out what the greats did. Jazz greats, rock greats, they were probably classically trained if they're at a very high level. They understand keys, they understand majors and minors and sevenths and things like that. To get to that level, it takes a lot of dedication to get there, a lot of time spent focusing on that. If you're in another state of mind because of substances like alcohol, right? You're not going to be able to retain that information. Maybe you could, but it's going to take you so much longer to do that. And my guess is you're not going to really remember it. You're not going to be able to really crystallize concepts because you're just not there. Music at a high level can bring an extreme amount of pleasure, and you can escape maybe things that you're not happy about just through music. So there's times when I'll come down here in my studio and I'll play for 3 or 4 hours, and time will just snap right by, and I'll go upstairs. It'll be midnight and I'm starving, but I'm tired and I want to go to bed. There's no reason for me to drink because my mind is occupied with something that I love. So if you love music, music is enough. You don't need substances to make you happy. You really don't. It's really just going to bring you down and crush your dreams. So if you want to get out there and be a professional, I think it'd be so much easier if you just didn't, And what's the real benefit you're getting out of it? Temporary satiation of pain? Some sort of coping mechanism? You wake up tomorrow, it's right back. Now you got to get rid of it again. Why not deal with the feelings you got inside? Feel the pain. Go through it. Once you've been through the pain, then you can get past it. You can move on. You can go, yes, this happened. I don't like my family situation. My friends don't treat me right. Well, maybe I need some new friends, some friends that are positive influences on me, that support my dreams of being a musician, support my dreams of doing whatever. But they care about me genuinely. They don't just want to knock me down and tell me that I'm, less than them. So, in the right frame of mind, if you focused on music and you really dug deep, you got into theory and you practiced and practiced and practiced, all that time that you spent out drinking with your so-called friends that are caught in the same trap that you are, if you put that into learning guitar, learning piano, saxophone, vocals, drums, bass, whatever instrument you play, focus on that. Become a master of that instrument. Throw yourself at it. Become a servant to your instrument. Humble yourself and open your ears, open your mind, open your heart to what's possible with that instrument. There are people that are great and they did those things. They sacrificed, going out and drinking with their friends, and they focused on their instrument. Now, there's nothing wrong with going out and having a drink here and there, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if it's affecting your life, it's affecting your progress as a musician, what's the point in that? Our lives are short. They could be cut short at any time. They could be taken away. I've watched people 18 years old die from a heart attack from drug overdoses. I've watched people waste decades hoping things are going to get better, but they don't because they're trapped in a cycle of alcohol addiction. And their life really never goes nowhere. Their relationships are all broken. They're miserable people. They're generally angry and sad. They kind of toggle in between that. And moments of, joking and laughing when they're drinking. But then the sadness comes, the fighting comes, the bickering, the complaining. It's really not a happy existence. On the other hand, if you were to focus on your instrument and you were able to get gigs at bars, at restaurants, within a band, without a band, the happiness and joy that I've found from doing that has been immense. It's been life-changing, really. I was not a professional musician in my 20s. It really didn't happen until my late 40s, early 50s on another level, because in my younger years, I wasn't serious enough about it. And I didn't have time, frankly, because I was so busy doing my career job. But I finally dedicated enough time to get better at it, enough that I could get hired a lot more. And the earlier you can do that, the sooner you're going to be able to get to that pro level where you're going to get to play out at all kinds of opportunities. So again, this video is about alcoholism specifically, and whether or not you want to give up your life to a liquid, to have this imaginary happiness of being at a party, but really a lot of the time you're just all alone drinking because you're miserable in what you where you at in your life, and otherwise you wouldn't need substances to satiate like that. So how hard would it be to just say, no, I'm not interested in doing it anymore, throwing it away and focusing on your instrument? So I suppose you could do that with any hobby, art, working on cars, woodworking, whatever. You could get really good at any particular discipline as long as you spend the time doing it. But specifically music, I think music could be a cure for alcoholism. If you really wanted to end that party life and start a new chapter, music could be the avenue to do that. And you could use that same addictive tendency that you would have toward a substance and put it into this. Put in 3 4 hours a day, whatever it is. You'd be surprised how much time you spend not only drinking but feeling bad after drinking, and even just getting ready to go out and drink. It occupies a lot of time for a lot of people. So you could put that towards something productive, like learning music, get really good. Then, when you're out and you're playing gigs, the respect that you're craving, well, if you get really good at something, you're going to get, people are going to tell you, hey, man, that sounded good. I really enjoy that. Thank you. You made my day. I know that when I'm out playing gigs, people ask me to drink with them all the time. They're giving me free drinks. They want to buy me a shot of whiskey. They want to give me a glass of wine. And you know, I never drink at gigs. I don't drink at all anyway, but certainly not a gig. I'm there as a professional to do a job. I don't want to be missing chords, missing vocal lines. That's unprofessional. But I can have a good time without drinking with them, just playing my instrument. That's the joy I get, is creating music for people who are drinking to have a good time. And you'd be surprised how fun it is to watch other people get drunk and see how they act. And you realize, wow, is that what, did I act like that when I was drunk? Do I act like that? Do I actually talk like that? Because if you do that, you really won't want to drink very much. It's just not very attractive. But you can have fun. It's very entertaining in a an environment that's serving alcohol. You can still have fun, be perfectly sober. They don't know that you're not drinking, and you have just as much fun, if not more. And go home, and the next morning you're going to wake up, you're going to feel great, and you're going to be able to do it all over again. So if you're struggling with alcohol or drugs, my heart really goes out to you. I've watched so many people close to me suffer with it, and it's really tragic. So I hope you can find your way out of that lifestyle and throw yourself at music. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something else you really want to do, whatever. Maybe you want to travel around the world, find something. But if you're a music lover and you want to get good at your instrument, try replacing this for whatever you're doing. And I wish you the best. I hope you find happiness. And if you got some beautiful music, please share it with the world. Okay. Thanks so much today. And we'll see you next time on Adam's Music. Take care.